Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to HOTFIX. Today, we're going to be talking about gaming monopolies, and not Monopoly the game. Although, Mr. Kirioth, I've got quite a funny story about Monopoly and how it's kind of advanced over the years. Now, I remember as a child playing Monopoly at Christmas, because this is what the family does all the time, and it involved paper money. So you could rob the banker. So you could put your hand in and just take a few 100 notes, or I think you could get 500 notes as well. Nobody'd know. Well, last year, I was playing Monopoly with one of my little cousins, and Monopoly has changed, sir. No longer does it involve actual paper money. You have a credit card.
What?
And a chip and pin machine. I was like, right?
But the whole point of Monopoly is you wait until the banker takes a drink and you nick 500 quid.
Yeah,
that's what you play
this is even better. This is even better now because there's no trace. Like, you can put your card in when the banker goes to the toilet, give yourself 20 million. Tap, tap, tap.
God.
Go. 20 million credit. It was amazing.
Goes from petty theft to like white collar crime.
Yeah, it's like massive bloody. I couldn't believe it. I literally couldn't believe it. It was the best thing I'd seen possibly ever. But anyway, Mr. Kirioth, the whole point of this hotfix is gaming Monopoly. So there's quite a few we're going to talk about. Now, everybody out there is going to go, okay, Steam is gaming Monopoly, because it is. That's a digital distribution monopoly. YouTube's a monopoly. And it's most definitely a gaming monopoly, because any kind of gaming video content that wants to get any kind of views is on YouTube. There is literally nowhere they can go. The other one is Twitch TV. So this is streaming monopoly. Now, I think what we'll do, Mr. Kirioth, is start off at Twitch. Now, I'm going to take everybody back to last year. Now, there were two streaming platforms. There was Twitch, and there was Owned, or Own 3D, whatever the hell you want to call them. Now, they were equal. I'm going to say, Mr. Kirioth, they were fairly equal. Yeah. I think Twitch might have been slightly a little bit bigger. I know that when I did my... when we first started streaming, I sort of looked at both Twitch and Owned, and I was like, which one should I go for? And I thought I was getting a slightly better quality from Twitch. That's why I went with Twitch. But I think, for all intents and purposes, Mr. Kirioth, they were kind of the same size.
Yeah, I think they had a little bit of a split audience as well. I seem to remember Twitch had more in the way of... Was it more in the way of StarCraft or LoL? And the other one, and Owned, had more of the other one. I can't remember which way around it was.
Yeah, I think Owned had more. Did it have more LoL?
I think
it had like Guardsman Bob and people like that, I think. And Twitch was definitely StarCraft. So, you had these two competitors. Now, Owned 3D collapsed. Or Owned 3D, whatever the hell they were called. They collapsed big style through poor management and a load of other issues. But they collapsed. Now, this is obviously very good for Twitch, because this means that no longer do they have to offer these shady contracts, under the table deals to get the big streamers from the other provider to come over to theirs. They're just naturally going to come over because they've got no other place they can stream. So this means Twitch has become an absolute powerhouse with streaming through the collapse of the competitor, which is natural. That's what happens in business. If a competitor collapses, you're going to get, and you're in the same sector, well, obviously you're going to get their business. Now, the problem with this is Twitch literally has the ability to make or break any streamer. Now, if we look at the streamers, I'm going to exclude League of Legends professional streamers from this, because I know they get paid from Riot. How much do they get paid? I'm not sure. I know they get paid quite a bit, though.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've got I think they get part of the revenue from the stream. There's also a standing salary from the team they belong to, and of course there's the fact they're employed by Riot for the LCS, so they are like, they're well above the normal guys.
Ignore the team, ignore Twitch. They're getting paid by Riot, so I'm just going to kind of push them away, because I don't think they're that vulnerable. Other streamers, though, like we said, Guardsman Bob, Kungan, he's another streamer. Duck Sauce, that's a World of Warcraft streamer. Bloody, there's loads. There's a lot of people who are independent, but they stream, and they have a lot of viewers, right? Now, let's say they're getting a minimum 5,000 viewers, yeah? So that means that they're making a fairly hefty amount every month off Twitch through the subscription button, through stream donations, and through ad revenue, okay? Now, if Twitch decided to say, we don't like you anymore because you've done something that we don't agree with, goodbye, that person, let's use Kungan as an example. Let's use Guardsman Bob as an example. He now has no income. Like he's dead. Like what can he do? He cannot possibly stream anywhere because hello, there is no competition he can go to. So he has to do what Twitch says. So if Twitch say to him, "We don't like you doing this. You need to do this now." What can he possibly do? Now I'm going to read something off which is quite shocking. Let me just bring it up. So this is part of the Twitch legal terms and conditions. So this is 11.1 or 11.1, termination and terms of service violations. You agree that Twitch, in its sole discretion, for any or no reason and without penalty, may terminate any account or any part thereof you may have with Twitch or your use of the Twitch service. Hang on, that don't make sense. Let me what have I read here? You may have with Twitch or your use of the Twitch service. Okay. You may have with Twitch or your use of the Twitch services and remove and discard all or any of part of your account, user profile, broadcast content, blah, blah, blah. So, and it goes on and on. It's quite a big paragraph. But the main point there, Mr. Kirioth, is you agree that Twitch, in its sole discretion for any or no reason and without penalty, may terminate any account. So essentially what this is Twitch, if they don't like you, right, or they just want to get rid of you for some reason, I don't know, they could delete all of your VODs, they could delete your channel.
They don't even have to do it because they don't like you, for no reason. I mean,
well, yeah, but
no
you've
reason,
agreed to this. This is the thing. Now, I know Twitch offer different levels of partner channels, but they're all subject to this. Now, we've got a partner channel on Twitch, but it's only a low-end partner channel. This allows us to stream in. You get the 720p setting and also the 320 downscale. You may notice that we don't have all the other options in between because we're not like a premium partner account, and we also don't have the subscription button. But it means we can run adverts. Now, like I said, for the people I gave in the example before, like Kungan, Duxors, Guardsman Bob, and all the rest of them, if they could no longer stream, or Twitch, for no reason, which they quite legally can do, remove your account, what the hell do you do? What do you then do as somebody who makes their living streaming? What do you do?
There's just no competitor. There's nothing you can turn to. There's no other service that you could take your stream to. It would just be Twitch says I'm out of a job, therefore I'm out of a job. Goodbye. Sorry, that's it.
And also, you'd have no back catalogue of work, so you couldn't really show people what you've done. It would just be gone, which is really, really bad. So, this is bad. You know, like in the case of Twitch, how could you combat this? Well, I think one possible way of kind of combating Twitch from the streamer's perspective is if there was some sort of union. Now, unions in themselves, or trade unions and things like that, they are, well, I'm not entirely sure if I agree with them because they can hold businesses to ransom, which is not really, or in the case of the UK, they can hold an entire country to ransom. They can do quite a lot of bad things, but then the old Maggie Thatcher comes and then there's even worse problems, but whatever. You know, so trade unions are not exactly the super good answer, but if streamers did get together and had a sort of a body which represented them and could say, Twitch, you know, why have you got rid of Kirioth from streaming? You know, we like him, he's part of our group, you better bring him back as we're going to start doing something, you know, take action against you. Maybe that would force them to kind of do something about it, because Twitch depends on the streamers depend on Twitch. Now, I know there's a problem with this because you can't make demands of Twitch because Twitch know they're currently the only place you can go, which is kind of the other point I want to make, Mr. Kirioth, which is, will there ever be a competitor to Twitch? Now, I think the only company which at the moment has the infrastructure, has the cash and the ability to say, okay, I'm going to set up a direct competitor, not a minor service, a direct competitor or even a bigger service, is YouTube.
And YouTube are already in a massive position of power in terms of another aspect of gaming. So it's like the main reason that I think they could do it, where they could just turn up and say, here's our brand new streaming service, it is just as good as Twitch, is because they already have the ultimate monopoly on gaming videos on the web, which is also kind of bad because that puts them in the same kind of position that Twitch is in for streaming. So it's like,
another thing. Actually, I've just thought of another thing which could happen on Twitch. It could kind of go the same way as YouTube, where you've got the companies that you partner with. So on YouTube, we're partnered with Makers Media under TGS, so the Game Station. Now, they give us legal support. They give us loads of support. They're our contact. You know, if we want to talk to YouTube, we can go straight through TGS and it will go straight to YouTube, and YouTube can sort things out really quick. Now, that could start happening with Twitch. You could start getting these bodies that start setting up. So TGS, Twitch, whatever, I don't know. It could be anything. And they sort of deal with the legal aspect for it and kind of protect you. But obviously you have to pay for this, so they take a cut of your revenue. Now, maybe that might happen. I don't know. But one thing I can say with YouTube. Now, again, this is like first-hand experience of a gaming monopoly, because my livelihood completely depends off Unit Lost, and Unit Lost is extremely active on YouTube. That's where a large proportion of its income comes from. Now, I have a copyright strike on the Unit Lost account. Now, I've got it's Kirioth's laughing. I've got a copyright strike because I dared to cover Battlefield 4. Some of you may have remembered this video. It's actually been deleted now, but some of you may have remembered the video, which it was just a bit of analysis of the trailer. So it was me talking about some of the differences between Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, which, to be honest, there's not much. Well, I didn't know that EA actually had an exclusive deal with certain YouTube channels. Okay, so only they could show the content. Usually, TGS is informed of this and would say to me, "Don't make videos on this because you'll get slammed because you're not allowed to do that." Well, even they didn't know. So when I got a copyright strike, which, by the way, is quite a bad thing on a YouTube account because it limits the functionality of the account. And if you get 3, well, your account is gone. Now, it means I can't... I mean, I won't bore you with the technical details, but it means I can't do quite a few things which are pretty... In fact, one thing which you may notice on the videos is at the end of a video, the little Planet Side 2 Is It Pure thumbnail comes up, and there is the Unit Lost logo in the top left. I can't change that anymore. That's called in-video programming. But because I've got a copyright strike against my account, I cannot change that. So how do I get rid of the account, which I should not have received? Because it's still gaming content. But hang on, you should have received it because there was legal contracts were drawn up saying only these channels can actually do it, which is okay. But this is a misunderstanding, so this should be sorted out. And it is being sorted out. But YouTube is not very fast at sorting these things out. And now, consider this, I have a direct line to YouTube, okay? So if I didn't have this and I was a partner on my own, it would probably take even longer for this to get sorted out. So we're talking of a period of like 2-3 months before this gets sorted out. Because hilariously, not that many people actually work at YouTube. A lot of it is just automated, you know what I mean? So it takes a lot of time. And I mean,
that's one of the things that, again, is a downside to something being a monopoly, really. I mean, I suppose it could be the ultimate example of why a monopoly is bad. YouTube don't need to get more people onto this kind of thing. They don't need to fix the copyright strike on the channel. They don't need to do anything about it, because where exactly are we going to go if they don't? I mean,
this is the thing. And also, this is the thing. I mean, imagine if something else happened. So there was another mistake, and it happened with Yogscast, didn't it, recently, where the channel was just deleted. It was like, no.
Because it was being owned and operated by someone who was under 13 years of age, which is a fantastic example of how either someone didn't read what was going on, or it was just automated.
Well, it's just automated. This is the problem, yeah? So that goes offline, right? Now, I'm not going to talk about how much money they make, but they are like Premiership footballers. That's all I'll leave there. So if their channel's down for 24 hours, they're losing a lot of money, right? Now, imagine if something like that happened to Unit Lost, and for whatever crazy reason, the channel was offline for a month. Well, what the hell would I do? Or even 2 months, 3 months? I could not work on Unit Lost any longer. I would have to go and find a job. I have been screwed over by the monopoly in the sector I work in. Now, you can say, well, Stylosa, you're stupid, for working in that sector and blah, blah, blah. But this is one of the problems with monopolies, and I'm giving you the example of YouTube because it's something that I've worked directly with, and obviously with Twitch that we've gone over. Now, I think the other really, really big monopoly, probably the biggest, is Steam. Now, this is everybody knows what Steam is. It's pointless me explaining what Steam is. Digital distribution platform. First of its kind, offers the best service because it does. It's got loads of community integration. Loads. I think the client's a bit shit though. I don't know why it's laggy and crap. Even Origin's client is really fast, and so is Uplay from Ubisoft. That's really fast as well. So I don't know why Steam is a bag of shit and really slow. But it has such control over the market because, okay, it was the first. And again, you can compare this back to Google. Google were like the best search engine. That's why they became the biggest search engine, the only search engine. Yeah. And that's sort of what's happened with Steam. Okay, you might have little competitors like Bing in the search department. And with Steam, you've got little competitors like Origin and people like that. You know, it's like they're nothing compared to Steam. Now, Mr. Kirioth, I am betting you have a fuck off Steam library of games.
Last count
fuck
was,
off being extremely large.
I
people who
think
don't understand my terminology.
192.
Oh, fuck off.
Which is like...
I don't even know how many I've got. Hundreds. Probably fucking 500 odd. Loads of games. Probably more. I don't even know. The point is, we have shitloads of games on Steam. So we've spent ludicrous amounts of money on Steam. Okay, we do get games given to us because of the nature of our work, but we have such a beefy Steam account with God knows how many games in. Why would we go and decide to use Origin instead?
I did. I have to admit, this was when Origin came out, when it was announced. We did have this conversation at that point, which was, why the hell would I ever use this? The only reason I have got it installed is due to Battlefield 3. That's it.
Okay, so yeah, well, that's kind of marketing strategy. So they're thinking like, we need to get people onto this service. So our big flagship games, they only use our service, which you can understand from a business perspective. That's fine. They probably would have sold more if it was on Steam, but they don't want to give Steam money because they're Valve money because they're a direct competitor. And you can again understand that from a business perspective. But you know, what happens if? Oh, well, the way Steam works is you do not really own the games. Well, you definitely don't own the games. All you have is a license from Valve to play that game. It's a license which allows you to download that game from their servers and play it on their or via Steam. Okay, that's and it gives you access to all of their community stuff and things like that. It's a license. You don't actually own the game. Now, if you buy a game on Steam and you want to play it on Origin, well, you're going to have to buy it again on Origin. I don't know why you would do that, but you would have to do that, okay? Well, okay, I know why you would do that, because Steam have shut your account down for whatever reason. They've decided that they don't like you, Mr. Kirioth, so your account is gone. So now you've lost all your games, right? So you've lost thousands and thousands, and it's terrible, it's bad. So now you go to Origin and buy the game again. Well, hang on a minute. You've got the game. You yourself have bought that game twice, but you've only bought a license off Steam. So this is like a really bad problem. And I think, Mr. Kirioth, the only way I could ever see this getting sorted, because I don't think there will ever be anything which can directly compete with Steam. It is so dominant. I mean, if EA can't turn up and take on Steam, but then who the hell can?
And there's loads of different things that have tried to, get a piece of it. I mean, there is Origin, there's Uplay. I think there was the guys who made what was it? Sins of a Solar Empire. They made their own little in-game store as well.
Impulse.
That was it. Impulse, yeah. And that was taken over by GameStop or something. But it's still like they are nothing. They are tiny. They are like they don't even compare. There's no way they ever could. It's the point now where Steam is just so big and has got such a vast collection of games. You would have to have infinite pockets to set up a rival service. And also you need to add on to the fact as well that a while ago, I think it was a few years ago, someone complained that Valve should not be allowed to own Steam and make games, which they then sell via Steam, because it created this really powerful company.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But now, if you think about it, what's Ubisoft done? What's EA done? You can't stop Steam. You can't stop Valve from doing that with Steam. So if they tried to beat them at their own game, but they can't, because I cannot think of any Valve game in recent history that has flopped and caused a bad reputation or done something damaging. Well, all of them require Steam.
Well, the reason for that is because they're good games. Steam is a good platform. Like everything they've done is generally pretty, really high quality and good. So, if you look at the Reddit community, they pissed themselves over Valve, and it's like, okay, you can understand that, but on the other hand, you've got to understand that Valve is a business and it knows what it's doing. It's not stupid. It knows this is how it makes loads of money, so it's going to carry on doing that type of stuff. I think it gets a lot more praise than it sometimes deserves. Doesn't deserve really. It's like, but that's a whole other discussion. I think like looking at some of the things I came up with on how to kind of combat Steam, if the law was changed, now this would have to be a global change. I think something in Germany has happened like this, where it gives you the ownership of downloadable content, which is obviously what every game is off Steam. So what I'm trying to say is, if you bought a game off Steam, and in the eyes of the global law community, right, this just sounds retarded, you now own that game. Okay, so I've bought Half-Life 2 off Steam, right? I've bought it off Steam. That's who I've paid. I've paid Valve. I've got their game. Now I own that game. Yeah. Now this is how it used to be in the past with boxed copies of games. This has only really happened in the last 10 years with PC gaming. Well, maybe not even the last 10 years, but you know, okay, so you now own that digital copy, and it now works on every platform. So if I've bought Half-Life 2, it will work on Origin, it will work on Uplay, it will work on every other platform. That's the only way I could see this ever working out, removing the monopoly. Now, there are positives and there are obviously negatives to this. The positive is it's going to draw down, but prices will be forced down. Steam is notoriously expensive. There are places like Green Man Gaming. You can go and buy a Steam key for, you know, half the price of what the hell Steam is charging. Now, that's crazy. That's like, what? But if everywhere was on the same playing field, they would all be forced to drop the prices down. Because one thing I could never understand, Mr. Kirioth, when digital distribution became popular, is why it retained the same costs as games which are produced in a fucking factory in a box and then are sent to you. Okay, surely if the game was $29.99, it should only be £20 now, because that £10 for the fucking construction of the bastard disc and all the rest of it is not needed.
Because I mean, and also surely the whole thing about digital download as well was
well, hang on, you'll obviously need bandwidth and servers, but yeah, I'm sure it wouldn't be as expensive.
But it's like you should be able to. The whole point of digital distribution for me was that it was like, oh my god, I can buy this game and in a few hours, because I had a terrible internet connection, I can play it. This is opposed to, you know, getting on the bus, going into the town, finding a copy of the game in the shop, depending on whether they had it in stock, then getting back and then installing it in stock. Instead, it was just you click this button and then you've got a game. The thing that got me was that when I first started looking at digital distribution, like Steam, and I'd look at it and I think, that's a bit pricey. I'll wait till the weekend, I'll see how much it is at the shop I usually go to. Because the local shop near me was usually about 10 quid cheaper than the easy one-click you have the game method. Which was just like, so hang on, I'm paying an extra £10 here so that I can get the game.
Yes, but it's like, same? This is the thing, it's just business, ain't it? It's like, okay, you're used to paying this amount for a game, so because this is like a fast and easy service to use and it's very user friendly, we'll charge you a bit more, and you can understand why they do it, but it's bullshit. And I just thought while you were saying that, maybe another competitor, somebody who might actually be able to take on Steam, would probably maybe be Activision Blizzard. Now, they've already, if you think about it, through Battle.net, they've already kind of got a Steam of sorts. You know, they've got a platform where they sell you World of Warcraft, they sell you StarCraft, they sell you Diablo, and they sell you all the expansions, they sell you digital content, they sell you, like microtransactions, stuff like, you know, mounts in World of Warcraft. It handles your subscription fees, and it signs you up to betas and stuff like that.
And it's
also got all the friend system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the whole community aspect of it. Maybe in the near future we'll see some sort of, maybe it'll just even be called Battle.net, because Battle.net is quite a good name. You know, it stands out, like, oh, that's Battle.net. Maybe that'll be the only place you can buy Call of Duty. The only place you can buy the other Activision titles as well. And then they start building up their own store. So this is kind of like Origin. Although, obviously, it would have a massive, like, springboard to launch itself off, because Blizzard has got shitloads of people playing its games anyway. So they would already be integrated into it.
If they extended Battle.net to handle Call of Duty as well, say, maybe not for the next release, unless they plan on making a big announcement or something, but the Call of Duty games, when they come out, get a metric fuck ton of sales. So if you suddenly had this system that incorporated that and all your previous games, rather than it being released on Steam, you'd instantly get millions.
There's other issues as well, though. Like they will get more sales through it being on Steam and other things like that. So I think like maybe it wouldn't be exclusive, but it'd be available. I mean, it depends how they'd want to do it. I don't know. But that was just a wild idea I've got. So this has been quite a detailed discussion. This has been all about gaming monopolies, and we've gone over quite a few. So we went over the Twitch streaming monopoly, which it is quite frightening when you look at it the way that we put, well, the facts that I've given you. It is quite terrifying. You've got the YouTube gaming monopoly, which again is really the same thing. You've got the Steam monopoly, which is maybe the worst of the lot, because streaming and YouTube content, that only really doesn't really affect that many people in terms of the money they put in or the money they get out, because people like you and me, they're not that, there's not millions of people out there who run gaming YouTube channels and stream on Twitch, but there are millions of people out there who buy games off Steam, so that directly affects them more than the other monopolies. But hopefully you can see how they are monopolies, and it is kind of frightening from everybody's perspective how having a monopoly, especially in gaming, I mean, and like Kiri said, in anything, if you've got a monopoly, it's bad. I mean, you have the is it the Anti-Monopoly Commission or something in this country?
Yes.
Something like that, which it's a government body which says, no, you can't do that. I think Microsoft gets slammed with it all the time because they try and do crazy shit like, no, we want this, and they're like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah, I think
the telecoms industry, loads of it.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft are fined constantly by the EU for monopolising their sector, but because they've got a monopoly on the sector and they sell so much, the fines are a pittance compared to what they actually own, so they remain in a monopoly, and it doesn't make any difference.
So it is a very detailed discussion, this is, guys. Take part in the comments below. As ever, we do read the comments, so I want to know what you think about gaming monopolies and what can actually be done to stop these monopolies. It is a very complex subject, possibly one of the most complex things we've ever covered in HOTFIX. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and you follow Kirioth, he is @Kirioth, and you subscribe to the channel. And I think, Mr. Kirioth, we'll catch you next time. Toodaloo.